Hello everybody, Bearded Brush, and it's done. The project is done very quickly actually. I was hoping to have had a couple more, or at least one more progress video, but time didn't really allow me to have that chance to do a progress video. So here's the army completed. Still needs a little few tidy up bits here and there. The bases need finishing off with black. You'll see there's lots of like paint spillage and glue spillage and bits and bobs, but me being me, a massive man child, I wanted to show you guys the completed army, basically. So yeah, they are done. They are completely and utterly done. The models which needed to be repainted to sort of bring them up to the current standard of the rest of the army, the ones I painted 6 years ago, they're fitted in really nicely. They're actually quite easy to paint, to just get up to scratch. I just went over the cloaks, did all the like the trimming highlights to blend it all in with the rest. I had painted a little pattern. This isn't necessarily one of the original ones. Actually, tell a lie, it could be. But what I'd done is along the bottom, on the actual, I can't remember if I told you this or not before in the previous video, but anyway, on the bottom of this, of their brown surcoat type thing, if you look on the original pictures and as best you can, the film itself, they'd have a job. There's a diamond pattern that goes all the way along the edges. And I tried to mimic that. And I intended to do that again with these ones, like for the whole range. But ultimately, I decided against it because one, it's going to take a long time, a ridiculously long time, and to be honest, I felt they didn't really need it. When I was thinking about it, I suddenly thought, you know what? That's kind of if I was to be going for like a Golden Demon style thing. I feel there's just no need for it. It'd be a lovely touch to the army, don't get me wrong. And maybe if I feel brave and I have the exact ability to do such a thing, then I can go for that and will go for it in time. But for the moment, no. I'll leave it as it is. That's fine. They're all good. That'll do fine. But yeah, here they are. Obviously, the highlight for me, and I must apologise because I haven't actually finished this guy. His beard needs to be painted and his base needs to be based. This was a guy that somehow sort of got missed off the finishing list as such. And also the little handles need to be painted as well. I'm just going to bring my lights across a bit so you can see them a bit better. There we go. But yeah, again, great sculpt. But you've seen this guy already. I'm sure you have, previous video. But yeah, I've still got to do his hair and do the base. The base with the usual grass and flower tufts and all that jazz. But here's the Windlance. Absolutely wicked model. I'm going to do a separate video on this, which isn't going to be much to look at. It's just going to be me sort of holding this and pointing things. But for people wanting to build this, I'm going to give some advice, because there's a few things with this kit that you kind of need to have in the back of your mind. One being its strength. The instructions as well suggest that you can move this, leave it like an Airfix model. You can connect a piece and you can forever move it. You can't. There's no way in God's green earth you can leave it to be adjustable. You can't do it. This will not be clicked into place and adjust. It's resin. It's too flimsy, but I'll use it. I'll explain that in another video. But anyway, here it is. So I've got some nice little grass flower tufts. There's some like moss type foliage sort of stuff going on in the corners of the stone. You can see it better here. I've put that in there just to make it look like that this has been so obviously stationed in its position for quite some time. And it's just shown a bit of weather, not necessarily from neglect or laziness from the troops, but it just gave a bit more character, I felt, made it a bit more natural. You know, a few months of sort of not looking at stuff, and it's amazing how quickly nature takes over these sort of elements, especially if it's out in exposed nature like this. You've got some other sort of like floor covering sort of stuff there. Can't think what it's called, but it's weird like nylon-y sort of coloured material type stuff, which looks great. I'm really pleased with it. It's got a nice spring, summery sort of grass type stuff on it. But I think it sort of complements the model quite nicely. And the yellow colour, it gives a nice spot colour to this model, just to brighten up. Because obviously it's silver, it's brown, that's pretty much it. So it has some greens and a nice sort of massive tuft of flower. Kind of just brings it out a bit more, and hopefully sort of brings it into the Middle Earth sort of, you know, scenery. The rest of the models, so the original models, which I wouldn't be able to pick out anymore now because they're all nicely blended in. Whoops. But the original models, I added a few more bits to their bases. The original bases were very bland, just stuck some grass on, that was it. So I've gone over all of them, added other bits. For example, this captain I can spot a mile off because the fact he's got a massive lavender sort of bush type thing right in front of him. Pop that on there just to give him colour. Added some more grass. There's nothing on the back here for him originally. So I've gone over that. And do you know what? I need to tie in his scabbard. That's the wrong colour now. Everyone's got Rhinox hide. I'll have to go over that again. But yeah, just add a bit more grass. Sort of fresh to back up. All the gold edging, all the cloaks, everything, all the usual stuff. It's all been sort of refreshed up again. You've noticed as well, I've put these in the group. So you've got your bowman, got your swordsman, and you've got your spearmen. Now, some of these spearmen don't actually have shields on the models. I need to add them. Haven't added them on yet. That's kind of an intentional thing, so I didn't really feel the need because basically in terms of playing, everyone that hasn't got a bow is going to have a shield regardless whether they're holding it or not. So yeah, but obviously like these guys here where the spear is more up in the air, they need to have a shield placed there. So yeah, that's something to do as yet. This is one of the original models, actually, you can tell, because the base has had some extra dark grass added in the front there and a bit more around the back as well. Actually, saying that, there's still a few little bits. There's also something extra on the actual foot plate as well. Need to go over that a bit more. But yeah, there's a spearman. Also, what I did is, I'm sure you've probably noticed, on a few of these guys, I've milliputted. Is that the way to call it? Milliputted? Again, dirty bases. Need to clean these up, repaint the edges to make them nice and crisp. But I shaped tiles, floor tiles, on some of these guys. And that's because I wanted to sort of make it seem like some of these guys are actually in the city of Dale. Eventually I'm going to make some cool Dale buildings. So obviously I want to have that tied in. And that's why I thought I'd go for this. And this is very simple. A Shepty bone layered up with a white scar. With a homemade wash of Rhinox hide and Scrag brown, I think, just sort of washed in the tile grooves, just to give that stark contrast. Maybe a bit too stark, I'm not so sure about that myself. I'm happy with it, I am happy with it, but I'm sort of thinking, is it a bit too dark? But sometimes you look at white stones and patios and your local garden or wherever, and there can be a hell of a stark contrast. So I think sometimes too much of a neat colouring of things to make it look good can in fact actually make it look a bit off. So I think for that reason, the dark looks better than if I was to try and blend it in with a lighter shade, if that makes sense. But yeah, we've got loads of these guys with that. All different sort of patterns as well. I tried to make it look like things a bit different. So this guy, as best you can tell, you can see there, I actually made a indent, just using the back of the brush, that was all. That's to make it look like that's a gutter. I may even in fact add a tiny bit of like a water effect resin or something in there just to sort of help pop it out, make it give that gutter effect. And I've even done like a thin layer of two types of tiles and a thick tile to make it look like the roadside, a path side maybe, or even because it's a bowman, maybe stood on top of the main watchtower and it's to help the rain wash off and he's in the watchtower. So yeah, there's about 12 of these guys that have got the, hang on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, sorry. 10 of these guys have got that on, and it just helps sort of break the army up a bit, makes it look a bit different. Ideally, I would like 3 more bowmen, 3 more swordsmen, because I want to have that extra. So I've definitely got groups of 12. Obviously, spearmen are always probably the best shout. I do tend to use a lot of spearmen with my armies, but I would like to have the option of 12 and 12 for various reasons and things. But that's just, you know, a personal choice as such. Nothing really too much of a biggie there in time. Lord Girion, I haven't actually repainted yet. I'm still quite happy with him. There are things I want to change, but I've just done his base for now. So he's got the nice moss effect. He's got his lavender bush there. He's just sort of brightened up his base a little bit, and I'm happy with it. That's cool. I will go over his leather armour. Want to make it pop a bit more. I need to sort of blend in this edging, make it a bit nicer, a bit clean, a bit more, give him a little bit more effort. But for now, I'm happy with him. I will get back to him. May do a little video on that as well, just to show you the progress. Again, this guy, all just based, just look nice. Simple basing, Mornfang brown on sand, sharp sand, with a real vicious like dry brush attack of a Shepty bone just to go over them. And that's it really, there's only so many I can show you. This guy, great model, lovely model. And again, he's got the tile effect. Just stuck on with super glue. I was contemplating pinning, see the milliput squeezing through there. So I was contemplating pinning these guys And I may still do that if travelling with them a few times with some games makes it apparent they're going to snap off too easily. But hopefully not, because when I glued the guys down with the grass effects, the PVA for the grass was still quite wet. So when I then did the super glue and glued them on with that, the wet from the PVA mixed with the super glue kind of made a bit of a double whammy, that the wetness made the super glue activate quicker. It seemed, I could be wrong, but it seemed to work that way. It seems to give them quite a nice joint bond, so these guys are probably going to be reasonably durable. The ones based on the tiles, like these guys here, maybe not so, because there's literally just foot on the painted milliput, so maybe that's a snappable region. But if it is, that's not going to be a biggie. What I'll do is I'll just go every single one, line up the boot, line up roughly where they are. I'll drill just a tiny little hole, pop a little bit of metal in, just enough just to give the leg a bit of strength, and go from there. It'll take a bit of effort, but it'll be worthwhile doing to protect the models. But yeah, there you go. So you got, how many have we got here? I'm just thinking, so you got your 12 spearmen, you got 9 and 9, so you got 18, you got, my maths is terrible, what, 30 infantry there. You've then got extras with the musician, the banner. Plus I've got 4 captains. You got a captain there, 2 of the original captains there, another original captain there. So you're looking at what? So hang on, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Is it 38 models there? At a very quick glance, I should have counted before I did this video, to be honest, shouldn't I? But there you go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh no, he's a captain. So 9, 18, yes, 30, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, sorry. Maybe it's 41. But yeah, either way, 41 seems to be a good number. I'm not sure on the points value as to how far this will stretch. 1,000 points, maybe. If the captain's all kitted out fully and everyone's got a shield, plus the bow, plus, you know, so many captains and things. Yeah, might be enough. Might get to 1,000, maybe. I'm not so sure. 750 most likely. 500 definite. But yeah, I would like 3 more of these. Eventually, I'd probably want enough to have quite a few more spearmen. But for now, that's plenty. More than happy with this. This is going to serve me well. It's been really good fun. It's been hard. This has been a hard army to paint. I don't know why. I think I just found lots of details, as I've said to you guys before. Lots of details, lots of things that just made it really involved to have to really get these painted and all the little details and bits. And me being me, I mean, a good 10 hours, no word of a lie, a good 10 hours was most likely spent on just doing them little groovy details on the sides of the cloaks on all of these models. At least a good 10 hours doing nothing but that, plus the highlight on top of it as well, which is barely noticeable, to be honest, because it's so minor. But me being me, I had to do it. So yeah, there we go. I'll do a little mini video to do with this, just some tips on you guys building it, let you know what to expect, my thoughts on how to strengthen it. I will be buying another one. Hopefully my works bonus at the end of the year is when I'll get it. But there's definitely good value for money, I find, with this kit. There's a lot you can do with this, and it's really cool. So yeah, that's that. Got some goodies over here that come from my latest order. But for now, that is it. Next army, wow, there's lots. I have a Balrog to paint. I have the Changeling from The Hobbit. His name's Beorn. There you go. I've got him in his bear form to paint up. I've got a Balrog sat in the display cabinet. Sorry, I've still got the original. I've got the new Ent Treebeard. A couple of metal original Ents. There's plenty to work on, so I'm going to have a little ponder into what army I'll be doing next. I might even go and do this tank. I want to do a conversion of this Chimera. That could be next. Could be just some plain simple wargs to complement my Angmar army. There's lots coming up. I do intend to repaint my entire Mordian Iron Guard army as well. I had painted them in reds to make them look like the British redcoats. But I'm now hankering to go back to the original blues of the original army, because that nostalgic paint job was so good. I want to mimic it, but there's easily 60 to 70 Mordian Iron Guard that I have, so that is going to be one epic project. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Thank you to my recent subscribers. I've had 2 or 3 more turn up in the last week or two, and I also appreciate the amount of views I've had on this little video series has been awesome. You know, a couple of hundred almost on each one, which is much appreciated, and it's really nice to know that people enjoy what I'm doing and putting out there just for fun. So thank you as always. Let me know how you're getting on with your projects, or any sort of tips, any advice on playing with these guys. No, there's not a lot of variance, but let me know of any tips. Let me know tips of how to use this beastie machine. Is it worth taking to a bigger point scale just for fun? You know, how does the banner work, the musician? How does that all work? Let me know. I don't play very often, so it'll be good to get any tips or advice or anything like that. Well, on that note, guys, take care, rock and roll, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.